Good evening, once again, book lovers of the internet. I am Book Nerd 802, and in this video, I am going to be speaking about Alice in Borderland Volume 7 by Haro Aso. I now have two volumes left in order to completely finish this story, and a bit of a fun fact before I begin speaking about my thoughts with regard to the story. Arisu didn't show up once in this volume, and that was quite surprising considering that the series is called Alice in Borderland. So, this one, much like the others, has about 350 pages, and I rated it 3 out of 5 stars because I'm rather annoyed by the fact that the King of Spades game is considered a side story when in the show all the main characters came together to destroy the vicious killer. So there are 7 chapters of the King of Spades game here considered as a side story, which didn't resonate with me at all. In fact, it got on my nerves that it was referred to as a side story when they did such a better job of conveying it on screen. I think Netflix did an amazing job there. And it's not that I have anything against Heya or Agony, to be honest, but Arisu, Usagi, Anne, and Kuina would have made the win much more satisfying, as they after all did in the show. This one felt rather shallow, considering how far they went in the in the show. This story felt quite shallow in comparison, and almost as though there wasn't any effort put into it. The show completely overshadowed, one-upped the manga volume, and in several respects, I do still think that the show is better than the manga series, even though I'm almost done. I haven't yet quite finished the whole manga series. There are several ways in which I think the show is better. And this is precisely one of those examples. Dodo is a character which was, to my knowledge, entirely removed from the show, and I don't regret that decision at all. I feel as though there shouldn't have been a place for him in the show. I mean, it would have been too late to introduce a new character. Although there are newly introduced characters in the later episodes of the show, Dodo wouldn't have really made the cut, so I think they did a good job with that decision. And I'd much rather follow the stories of characters I'm rooting for and I've taken the time to learn about, rather than ones I can hardly empathize with, since I'm only given a backstory and very little character development. For instance, with Agony, I got to know him quite well since he was introduced during the beach arc, so there is a lot to know about Agony, and finally seeing him receive some peace after all he went through was quite satisfying. I think that was a very um, solid moment in the manga volume, and I enjoyed reading it quite a lot. And the story started with the conclusion of the Jack of Hearts game, which I didn't much care for either, especially since the Jack cheated. And in my opinion, everyone should be given a fair chance at games like these, especially with the citizens of Borderland. I think they should play fairly and give everybody an equal opportunity to win the games, even though they know that they might die. In fact, I think Yuma was probably one of the most most humble characters in the entire show, and the most logical and fair ones. And his game, the King of Clubs, was probably one of my favorites, the Osmosis game. And I fully understand that Chota and Karube weren't given a fair choice. And in the show, we are told that Mira is the one who designed that game, but apparently there are the other guys who the dealers who create the games themselves. So I'm not sure how it will play out in the manga. I will let you know in a future episode probably. I didn't enjoy this one much either for the fact that the characters all came across as rather dry, and it was hard for me to care about whether they died or not, as I mentioned in my previous review, because they didn't have much depth. So there wasn't much for me to care about. The way the Jack of Hearts was discovered to be the mastermind behind all the deaths, didn't particularly impress me either because it happened way too late. Many people had already lost their lives, so the efforts of the people who discovered that the Jack of Hearts was the mastermind, they proved to be rather insignificant because most of the other players had died already, so there wasn't really a point apart from saving their own skins, which is horrifying to think about. But that is all I had to say with regard to Alice in Borderland Volume 7 by Haro Aso. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.